I'll leave you with. Sorry. I'll leave you. I feel like you probably already know this about me, but I'm going to tell you again anyway. One of my favorite words in the English dictionary is hope. Hope isn't always a feeling. Sometimes it's a choice. One you have to make even when everything around you feels like it's unraveling. I came across a quote recently that said, "Hope is a discipline always worth practicing." And the more I think about that line, the more I absolutely love it. Because it's incredibly true, and not something I ever really thought of before. Because hope does take work. It takes showing up when you don't see results yet. It takes choosing to believe that something better is possible, even when the world feels loud, uncertain, or just flat out unfair. But I also think that discipline doesn't just belong to the hard stuff, to the grind. It's something we practice in the good ones too. Because when life gives us peace, laughter, just a hint of beauty at any point in time, it's so important that we notice it. We have to take a pause long enough to let that matter. To look around and say, yeah, this is some good stuff right here. Hope takes discipline in the storm, but it also takes discipline to let the sun warm your face again, to let yourself smile, to enjoy, to trust that joy isn't just a distraction from work. It's a reward for not giving up. So wherever you are today, rebuilding, resting, or just remembering how to breathe, keep practicing hope. Because the discipline isn't just about surviving the storm. It's about remembering to feel the sun when it finally returns. I'm Dan Bradley, and this is Braving the Brightside. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Braving the Brightside. Another week down. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you're getting a little bit of sunshine wherever you are, a whole lot of sunshine wherever you are, just as long as you're getting sunshine. Sunshine is very important for your brain, your skin, your soul, all within reason, of course, but, it is important. Big week in the world. Well, the country, really. And the fact that the whole country kind of showed up. No matter who you voted for, I just hope that you did vote. That's kind of the important part of what we're doing here. It's a pretty special thing, seeing that kind of turnout, too. Watching people show up and take part in something bigger than themselves. I love that. I hope you all had an awesome Halloween, too. Hope you maybe got a sugar rush or two. I had a decent Halloween. I worked. I was super tired. Like I said in last week's episode that went out, I was like running on 2 hours of sleep. So I got home. I was super excited. I ate a bunch of chicken and a bunch of rice, and then I passed out on my couch. But I did wake up. Didn't get as many trick-or-treaters as I was hoping. But I will say somebody definitely got lucky in terms of I took the whole bowl of candy. I bought way too much candy. Good God, I have 7 bags in my freezer right now that I probably won't touch till next year. But I loaded up a wooden bowl, salad bowl of candy, and I had to take the dog out, Vigo out for a walk. So I left the bowl in front of the door and took him for a walk, thinking, well, kids do show up. They'll just take some candy. And I was gone for maybe 7 to 8 minutes. Vigo doesn't like to mess around sometimes, especially when it starts getting cold. And then I came back and the bowl was completely empty. So either, 45 trick-or-treaters showed up in those 8 minutes that I was gone, which is kind of what I'm hoping for, or just a couple kids were like, sweet, no one's here, and just dumped the whole bowl in their bag. Either way, as long as the candy went somewhere and someone's eating it, that's all I really care about, because I didn't want it in the house. I have enough leftover candy right now, and it's destroying our lives in the best way possible. Well, now we're heading into winter. Which they're saying might actually be a snowy winter. which is kind of exciting for me anyway. I guess it depends on where you're at, but I'm excited about that. Mostly because if we could just get like one Christmas that feels like Christmas again, like cold, cozy, little snow on the ground, I'll call that a win. Just give me that. Just give me that. And then we can go back to like 65, 70 degrees. Like literally the week after Christmas is fine by me. That'd be a good thing. I'd take that. Oh, speaking of good things, Braving the Brightside is officially on YouTube. It's very exciting. You can find all the episodes there right now. I'm still dressing the place up a little bit. So when you go there and be like, oh, this is it, huh? But it is live. It's real. It's there. It's growing. But I'm still learning. I'm like kind of setting it up and whatnot. So it's going to be kind of like, going over to a bachelor pad that just has like a futon on the ground and an Xbox 360 laying there and like a Scarface poster on the wall. And that's it. And you're just kind of like, what is this place? But trust me, I am working on it. I hope to have a bunch of cool special content on there sooner rather than later. So just a little bit of patience. Video versions of all my episodes are coming soon too. So you'll finally be able to match this gorgeous voice, this velvety, gorgeous voice with an equally gorgeous face. Sorry in advance for when you see this face. But yeah, feel free to swing by, subscribe, and keep your eye out for some bonus stuff coming your way. I'm pretty excited about that. Quick life update. The animals are thriving. I feel like you wanted to ask me that. You could see it in your eyes, so I'm going to tell you about it. John Ralphio, my hairless cat, my ride or die, still as regal as ever, with his ocean blue eyes that steal my heart every single morning I wake up. And I love him. Vigo is my 6-month-old Shih Tzu puppy. It's a combination of Shih Tzu and Poodle, in case you're wondering. It's a technical term. He continues to test the limits of both gravity and patience. I swear I put my shoes on like a burlesque dancer now, my socks and shoes, just to keep him from biting my socks. It's brutal. I'm literally sitting there doing high kicks up in the air, trying to put my shoes on as he jumps at them. And I just feel like at some point in time, I'm going to like sneeze and pull something and it's going to be awful. But he is not big. He's small. He's 6 weeks, but he is full of energy, nonstop. I love him. He's adorable. He doesn't even look real half the time. He looks like Paddington the Bear's little cousin. So I can't really stay mad at him very long. I love him with all my heart, and he's great. So honestly, really, life's full in the best way, honestly. Busy, chaotic, crazy, sometimes exhausting, but good. Things are good. I mentioned hope earlier. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but I can kind of feel it floating around a little bit. I don't know. Makes a quiet little sense that maybe we are getting a little hope here and there, which I appreciate. Maybe it's just because Christmas is coming up. I don't know. Listen, all right. Enough about me and my life and what's going on and stuff like that. Let's get into this week's feel-good news story. And trust me, this one's a real brouhaha, as the kids say on the streets. Found this article in the website goodness-exchange.com. So Goodness Exchange is what the website's called. And it's a fantastic website. I don't know if I've talked about this particular website on here before. I may have, but it is a fantastic website. This one in particular, I'm a sucker. I'm a big fan of animals in general, animals' rights, protecting animals. And this one is pretty cool. And the title of the article is "The Remarkable Organization Saving Kenya's Orphaned Elephants." So, I feel like right there, it just headbutts you in the heart. So let's jump in and boy howdy, be ready. It's 5 p.m. right outside of Nairobi, Kenya, and a small group of people have eagerly gathered together. As they stare into the forest, to their left, the sound of crashing branches signals something is about to happen. Seconds later, a baby elephant comes rushing down the path, and then another, and then another. Trunks flailing, ears flapping, completely ignoring the crowd of onlookers. They are on a mission. It's dinner time. This motley crew, with their loose skin and big eyes and curious trunks, is the herd of orphaned baby elephants at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust. For over 40 years, the trust has been on a mission to end poaching, protect Kenya's endangered wildlife, and rehabilitate orphaned and injured animals. At the top of their list of accomplishments is their success with raising and releasing orphaned baby elephants back into the wild. It has made them a leader in conservation efforts to save the remaining African elephant populations in grave danger at the hands of illegal ivory trade. In 1979, there was an estimated 1.3 million elephants living across Africa. Now, over 60% of those elephants have been lost, and the population is down to just 415,000. At the hands of poachers and human influence, the world has been losing its elephants at an alarming rate. Poaching is a problem that has captured the world's attention for years now. But even with this focus, measures to stop it have fallen short, and the illegal and inhumane trade is driving animals like elephants and rhinos towards extinction at a rapid pace each year. Often, poachers leave behind milk-dependent babies still months or even years away from being weaned. Without their mothers, they can only survive for a week or two without milk. Most importantly, very often these young ones are left psychologically traumatized and sometimes injured by the poachers' horrific attacks on their mother and her herd. Luckily, in Kenya and East Africa, the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust is there to lend a hand. They have become world leaders in orphaned elephant physical and emotional rehabilitation. Their orphaned elephant program was the first to successfully hand-raise milk-dependent orphaned elephants and reintegrate them back into free-ranging herds. The Orphans Project has successfully raised and released over 244 orphaned elephants, and now those adult elephants have gone on to have over 30 babies in the wild. Just insanely awesome. Their elephant orphanage, right outside of the city of Nairobi, Kenya, is the first step of these orphans' process of recovery. And if you are one of the lucky few to witness their nightly rituals, as some of the members of the Goodness Exchange team got the chance of in the summer of 2020, it's an incredible sight to behold. What does the day in the life of an orphaned elephant caretaker look like? Well, from early morning feedings to days spent outside playing soccer with the young herd, preparing gallons of milk to nights spent bedding down with these little guys, raising these orphans is a full-time job. Yet, watching these caretakers in action, it's obvious that this job is something more to them. They are working in service of something greater, dedicating their lives to these magnificent animals. Though most of the elephants come in traumatized at the sight of humans, many having witnessed their mothers killed by human hands, the caretakers at the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust work to restore their trust, helping the elephants to not only recover physically, but psychologically as well. And you can even see it in their eyes. There's a video attached to this website. I'll see if I can attach it to the description of the podcast. But yeah, I mean, essentially I played it and I started crying. So, it's heartwarming in the best way possible. But again, you're going to get headbutt in the heart, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I'm just telling you. In 1977, the Sheldrick Wildlife Trust was established by Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick in memory of David Sheldrick, her late husband. As the first warden of Tsavo East National Park, the largest national park in Kenya, and a pioneer in conservation in Kenya, he and Dame Sheldrick devoted their lives to wildlife rescue and protection. The Sheldrick Wildlife Trust works in all areas of conservation, not just orphaned elephant rescue. They take a holistic approach to wildlife rescue. The organization works to secure wildlife habitat, fence and guard tracts of wild land, educate communities, rehabilitate wildlife, and provide veterinary care to animals in the field. Their work now benefits over 11 national parks and has saved and protected hundreds of thousands of animals. In 2018, after a battle with breast cancer, Dr. Dame Daphne Sheldrick passed away. Now, her legacy still lives on in the remarkable work of the organization and under the leadership of her own daughter and her family. Well, in the great complexities of our world today, we go nowhere if we forget the impact we have as a species on the natural world around us. The work of the Seldrick Wildlife Trust and the Elephant Orphanage is a critical part of protecting our planet's rich diversity. With an approach that encompasses rehabilitation, education, outreach, and patrol, they are working to save elephants and other wildlife from all angles. If you'd like to find out how to get involved, they have an amazing Get Involved page where you'll find a ton of ways you can get involved. I feel like I just said the word involved 19 times there. You don't have to visit Kenya to start saving wildlife. You can do everything from checking out their wish list of items they need to support their efforts, to adopting an orphaned elephant. I mean, come on. To taking action in your own circles, and so much more. There is such an easy way for any single one of us to show our support. I'd also suggest you to follow them on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter to keep up to date with their projects and orphans. Which again, I'm going to link all of this in the description of the podcast. But I followed them immediately on all of them, and yeah, you want some hope in your heart. You want some brightness in your life. You want some humanity, some faith in humanity kind of restored. Definitely give them a follow and see what they're doing, because it is nothing short of remarkable. I'll leave you with this reminder as to why it's so critical we support conservation efforts like the Seldrick Wildlife Trust. Here's a quote from Dr. Dame Daphne Seldrick before she passed away. It would be easy perhaps to lose hope in these difficult times, but we've seen difficult times before in the early days, and we've come through it. None of this work is done in a void. We all have something to contribute to the conservation of species on this planet. We can all contribute in our own way, whether we become activists for change, donate to great causes, or make little changes to our lifestyle to live more sustainably. I hope that you leave today uplifted by a sense of urgency. You are not acting in a vacuum. There are people out there tackling the major problems our planet faces. It is our job to rally behind them, support them, and tell their stories so they can continue to make a change. Stay beautiful and keep laughing. That is the end of the article. Yeah, I mean, it's sad. The whole poaching thing, I don't need to go into that. It's brutal, and parts of that parts of that story are, brutal to hear, but it's a stark reality of what's out there. But it is also so important to showcase these stories and showcase the light and these human beings that have been doing this for over 40 years are protecting these animals and dedicating their lives to protecting these animals, to nurturing and helping these poor babies that watch their mother get slaughtered, and nurse them back and release them back in the wild so then they can have their own babies, which is, beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. It's insane and incredibly inspiring. I volunteer occasionally down at at an animal shelter in my area, and I don't do anything too crazy. I just kind of clean up the dog kennels when they go out for walks and stuff like that. But like this article said, every little bit helps. Even if you're just dropping blankets off to a local shelter, dropping food off, taking dogs for walks, taking animals, just checking in to your local shelter and hanging out for a little bit. Every little bit helps. It also helps your soul. Believe me, it goes a long, long way. Highly recommend it. So once again, I'll link the article and all of the videos and stuff like that in the description of the episode so you can check them out. And if you're in for a good cry, definitely watch them, because the baby elephants are so adorable. So adorable. You can't help but tear up a little bit and want to give them a hug and kiss and wish them the best, which the elephants in the videos, they're getting the absolute best treatment. So it's cool. That is our feel-good news story of the day. Now let's turn our attention to today's guest, shall we? Today I'm joined by a man whose story sits right at the intersection of faith, football, and perseverance, Coach Snell. After decades of championship coaching at Beaufort High, he's now leading and mentoring at Georgia Tech. And his journey is proof that the game doesn't stop at the final whistle. Sometimes it's only the beginning. Coach, thank you so much for joining me. I'm really honored to have you here, man.
Man, thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate it, man. It's an honor to be on your show.
Listen, honor's all mine. How's your day going? How are things?
Yeah, it's going good. As I said earlier, I try to steer away from campus on Wednesday and get some things done here, whether it's planning or I might be planning for a Bible study. I had a meeting actually today in Powder Springs, or I may be doing admin work that I really didn't do a whole lot in my coaching career. So I'm learning how to do expense reports and all those kind of fun things.
Oh, that sounds delightful, really.
Like, uh-huh.
Very cool. So, things are going well then. Life's good.
Yeah, I like what you said about kind of my chapter 2.
Yeah,
Because I kind of do feel like, in a way, and we can get in the weeds with this later, but like I kind of do feel like 31 years of coaching kind of catapulted me for this and kind of set the stage. And so 100%.
very cool. Yeah. I'm a big fan of the next chapters, chapter 2s, chapter 3s, or whatever, starting, not necessarily starting over, but turning the page and really kind of,
That's right. That's right.
folding into life there. Well, let's get into it, really, Sally. Let's let the people kind of see, people who don't know who you are, the legendary Coach Snell. We'll get into that. You grew up in North Georgia, surrounded by football. Your dad was a coach. Your uncle coached Bo Jackson at Auburn.
Yeah.
What was it like growing up in that kind of environment? Just
You know what? I feel like I had like the greatest all-time kid experience you could ever have.
yeah,
My dad was a great coach at my high school, at Stevens County High School, and I grew up in the field house around players my whole life. Um, admiring and on the sidelines and running around the field and learning the game, being around the game. So that was a great childhood experience. And then when my uncle, who was a legendary coach at Alabama, and then he went to East Carolina, and then he went to Wyoming for a cup of coffee in 1980, and he landed the job in 1981 at Auburn. He was the head football coach there from 81 to 92, and won a lot of SEC championships, did a lot of amazing things. And yes, he did coach Bo Jackson. So my childhood was like football games on Friday night, pack up the family, drive to Auburn, and I kind of got the royal treatment a little bit. I would go see the athletic director. My dad would grab a little pass for me to wear on my belt buckle, and I could go in the locker room. I could go to the press box. I could go basically anywhere I wanted to in the stadium. So I was on the sideline a lot of Sugar Bowls. So yeah, I had a really a glorious childhood regarding football.
wow, yeah. I mean, you were in it. You were surrounded. You were getting to walk around with these giants, these titans
For sure.
of the sport. That's really, really cool.
Sure.
So when did you realize that, obviously I feel like growing up and around that, you're like, all right, I'm all in on football. When did you realize that coaching was more than just a family tradition? When was it like, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to make my own name.
Yeah, well, I had some really good football coaches. I had a great middle school coach, a guy named Frank Worth, and he had just a big impact on me with how he coached. We're very successful, but also just how he treated young men. And then that moved toward high school. Had some great high school coaches, Jerry Carroll, Rodney Walker, Frank Barden.
Now, did you play football yourself? Were you playing football through all this?
Football, right? I did, and then I wasn't quite good enough to be, Division I football player. But my uncle at the time, he offered me a working scholarship. So I went to Auburn and got there in August of '88, and basically worked my way through school. I worked in the football department, or I guess you could say we call it the football field house, college field house.
Mm-hmm.
We call it the complex, is what we call it, Auburn Athletic Complex. So I worked in the weight room. I worked in the video department. I worked in just doing a lot of different things. And then I was able to get my undergrad paid for because I was on a working scholarship. And then I stayed and got my grad school paid for as well. My undergrad was in marketing. My graduate school was in marketing education. So I was a GA, and was on the field for one spring coaching defensive backs. And so I was just in that culture like for 5 years. And I knew I wanted to do something in sports, and I thought I might use my marketing degree. So I sent my resume to like neighboring NFL programs, the Falcons, Jacksonville, Tampa, um, and Carolina. And I just got back a whole bunch of like, hey, thank you for your resume at this time. We're not interested, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, I know I want to stay in sports. So the guy that kind of mentored me in high school took a head football coaching job up in Jasper, Georgia. And so I decided to, hey, I'm gonna jump into this coaching deal. And I jumped in head first, and 31 years later, I had a chance to have a chapter 2.
Wow, incredible. So when you say like jumping into coaching, what is that? I know you said you were looking into getting marketing. You knew you wanted to be in part of this sports, and somehow you couldn't get in marketing. So how do you pivot to?
How do I pivot? Yeah, well, my graduate degree allowed me to get my teacher certification, and I was able to, get my graduate school paid for and my teacher certification. And I tell you, another guy that really impacted me was a guy named Tommy Bowden. So when my uncle left coaching in 92, Terry Bowden got the job in 93, and we went 11-0. And Tommy had worked for my uncle as his offensive coordinator, and he had a really, really big impact on me. And so I've got all these coaches in my lives that are making a big impact. And I'm like, well, why don't I pay it forward, what they've done for me, regarding, treating people the right way, coaching hard, having a positive impact on young men. And so that's what I decided to do. And my faith is at the forefront of that, of, teaching young men, hey, this is important, but it's not the most important thing in life, but this is a platform that athletes can use to basically bring people to the ultimate important, which is their relationship with the Lord. So that's kind of what I've done for 31 years. And now stepping away from this high school scene, I work with like 600 athletes at Georgia Tech, really, really close with the football program. And I also work close with baseball and also tennis. And then I have 2 campus reps that are there on campus with me, a little younger than me. And so we have kind of the sports divided, and it's a good team. It's a fun time.
Wow, that's incredible, man. That's really cool.
Yeah, it's really neat. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel a little bit of a, I just told my wife, I'm like, I need a change of scenery. Like I need to reinvent myself a little bit. And the Lord brought this opportunity available, and I'm like, wow, this is and I actually had, so my best friend one of my best friends from college. So we coached together at Buford for 16 years. I may have told you this earlier. And he actually is the defensive line coach at Georgia Tech now. And so he hadn't been on the job, I don't know, several months, and he was doing a Georgia Tech publicity something at Top Golf out by the Mall of Georgia. And he called me he said, hey, let's go to dinner. I said, yeah, let's go. And so we were sitting there eating wings at Taco Mac, and I said, hey man, there could possibly be a director job at Georgia Tech. Do you think I should be interested in that? And he said, man, are you kidding me? Yeah, you should definitely be interested in that. And I go, okay, well, let me make some phone calls and do some praying, and let's see where this thing goes.
Yeah, see where it takes me.
Yeah.
Wow. Incredible. Very, very cool. I love how that works. All that works out. So you said, you mentioned surrendering your life to faith in 87, right?
Yeah, I sure did.
What, you don't mind me asking, what led to that moment? What kind of built towards that?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. I was raised in a Christian home, and my mom and my dad both have very strong faith. But like, as most teenage boys, you kind of veer off
Mm-hmm.
the path, and which is what I did.
I
You
get
know,
that.
and I was really a follower, to be honest. Like I went to church and I did these things, but I was really living a double life. And when Frank Barden, who's actually still in coaching up in Dalton, Georgia right now, when he brought FCA into our school, we had a football camp of like 4 days. Like we would literally practice 4 times a day, like before breakfast, mid morning, then we'd have a workout in the afternoon, then we'd have an afternoon practice. It was like, wow, like awful. Like everybody hated it. And everybody like lived on the gym floor. You brought your mattress, you brought your fan, you brought your snacks, you brought your cooler, and everybody, like, you had 60 guys like on the gym floor.
Wow.
So during those 4 days at night, we had these FCA meetings. And I got after one of the FCA meetings, I got really convicted. And, as a guy that was brought up in believing the Bible and trusting it, that there was one verse that really stuck out to me in my head. So after one of those FCA meetings one night, I basically put my head in my pillow and I'm like, Lord, I was kind of praying. I didn't have some kind of magical prayer, but this one verse really came to my head, and it said, "What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul?" That verse is found in the book of Luke.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of like had a moment with myself, and I'm like, okay, I'm chasing this. It's going to lead to nowhere. I'm chasing this. It's really not going to lead anywhere. So really, the only thing that really matters is like where I'm at with the Lord. And so I just kind of surrendered my life. I'm like, Lord, like, I need you to change me and make me the man that you want me to be. It was as simple as that. And
Wow.
so it was a little bit of a surrender moment. And that's kind of my story.
Yeah.
From that point, I kind of started following Jesus and not just being a fan. And we had an incredible, not that this surrender brings on, like prosperity gospel or whatever. We had an incredible year in football that year, and had the winningest season in Stevens County football history. And I began to like be interested in spiritual things. I was really never interested. I only did it because my parents took me to church and I had to do it. But I really began to, for my own sake and for my own purpose, like be interested in spiritual things. I started like taking notes in church, like reading the Bible on my own and doing those sort of things. And I'm not really fond of any particular denomination. I'm just a straight, and FCA doesn't really espouse any type of denomination. It's just non-denominational, like Bible believing, trusting what it says, and building your life on him and on his foundation. So that's kind of where that started. And, I tell you the truth, like when you're on the fence and you don't really know who you are and you don't have an identity, you wake up mornings and you go, man, like, is this really what life is all about? Like, just don't feel good on Saturday mornings, And so I began to have some peace, in my life, and like, wow, this is, and then I met, a girl who's now my wife. So we were dated in high school, and she wound up coming to Auburn. And so things kind of fell in place for me, spiritually, number one, and then relationally with her. And, we dated for 6 years, and then we wound up getting married in 94. So 31 years later, we have like 23-year-old daughters that love to spend our money. I'm just kidding. Sort of.
Half joke. Got it.
Half joke. Yes.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. It really sounds like that moment kind of really set the tone for everything that came afterwards. Like, even on and off the field,
And so, I wanted to impact people the right way, and getting into coaching was great. I mean, because you're with players through battles all the time, whether it's a battle in the classroom, whether it's a battle in the weight room, whether it's a battle on the field, whether it's a battle relationally with a parent, like you're just always in the middle of their stuff. And, but those hard times are such teachable moments. And that's what I've been able to capture and walk next to, my whole career.
I mean, I love that you said that, because that was gonna be my next question. It was like, how has your faith kind of influenced the way that you coach these young men? You know what I mean? Especially in like high pressure environments like Georgia
Oh,
Tech.
man, you're asking such great questions.
Thanks.
I Here's the truth, and I'll land the plane quick. Like, Georgia Tech, heck, we're 7-0 right now. We're number 7 in the country.
Yeah.
And, I tell these athletes, man, like God gave you a gift and he gave you a platform and use it and be excellent and be the best you can be. But understand, like, football is what you do. It's not who you are. It's not your
Mhm.
identity. Your identity is not wrapped up in a game. Your identity is you're a child of the Lord. You're created by him, and everything that you do to bring him honor and glory. And that's what I'm pushing across the table. Like, there's a bigger score. I tell them this all the time. There's a bigger score than the one at Bobby Dodd. Football is going to come and football is going to go. Like, you're going to hang up your cleats one day. But, like, the Bible that talks about building your life. Are you building your life on the rock? Or are you building your life on the sand? And so I'm walking with these guys. They're playing at a high level,
Yeah.
and also they're a high level academic institute, and there's not much margin. So I try to create and meet with them and walk next to them in the margin that they do have. And yeah, that's what I'm trying. That's what I'm pushing across the table. Is there's a bigger picture here. There's a
Mhm.
bigger picture here. God is using you at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, Georgia, for such a time as this. But I also want to help them build a foundation that can help them be not only the right kind of player and the right kind of student and the right kind of friend and the right kind of son or daughter, but also the right kind of husband and the right kind of father. And I really believe that and this is a whole other conversation, but man, if we want to really change our world and change our culture, man, we need to change. We need great dads
Mhm.
that are raising their kids the right way, and of course, great moms too. But like, that's what I believe, and I want to teach these young men to build a foundation, even at Georgia Tech, when they're 20 years old. It's going to last when they're 30, 40, 50, 60, and so they can leave a legacy on whatever they do.
Yeah, I mean, and the impact that you probably have on these, young adults. I mean, they're almost just out of their teens at this point. The impact that you're having in their lives and shaping them to become, not even just better and more involved in their faith, but just a better human being moving forward is
No,
probably
no doubt.
massive, you know?
No doubt. I mean, the biblical truths are, perseverance, hard work,
Mhm.
like integrity. I mean, excellence. I mean, those are foundational principles that Jesus talks about all the time, like serving.
Yeah.
FCA's principles, serving, teamwork, excellence, integrity. Um, those are foundational pillars um that you want to build your life on.
Yeah. Especially at such an intense point in their lives at this point,
Yeah.
for sure.
And it's also a time where they're looking for, like, man, they're looking for answers and they're searching, like, is this all there is? Like,
Mhm.
or, man, what a coach, like, what do I do when I graduate and walk across there and get my diploma? What next? And it's really cool. The organic conversations that you have, like in the lunchroom or walking back from a practice off the practice field, or yeah, 100%. And I also, am blessed to have the opportunity to work next to walk with these coaches too. I do a coaches Bible study every Friday morning with the Georgia Tech football staff.
Mhm.
About 8 or 10 of those guys come in there, and so I'm pushing biblical truths across the table to them, and man, it's just a fun, safe space for them to talk and be real, and talk about struggles, and like talk about how um the brotherhood, and more importantly the Lord can walk with them and give them strength and help them navigate and give them wisdom to navigate life.
Yeah. It's important to have that safe
When
space.
the demands are so high, I mean, the demands on the field, the demands at home, it's just a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot. There's a lot they're trying to balance.
I mean, the pressure alone just from on the field and then from cameras and social media and TV, you know what I mean? All being a part of that. That's the pressure alone on a lot of these people is insane for sure.
Yeah. So I'm just, what I do love about this job versus, being in a high school for 30 years is like every day is different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like every day is different in terms of, I mean, I might be working with my staff. I might be having a conversation with a coach, conversation with a player. I might be ordering Chick-fil-A for the Monday night's meeting. I might be
Might be crushing an expense report,
crushing about. I hate doing that, but yeah, you're right. Oh me, just a lot. Or figuring out the combination of this gate so I can get in this facility. Or on the tennis court talking to tennis coaches and tennis players. Actually, I took the men's tennis team to play golf a couple of weeks ago. We had a blast. I definitely need to work on my golf game.
Yeah, I have no golf game, so I definitely need to work on mine as well.
That is not a positive for Coach Snell.
Well, you're human. That's fine.
That's right.
Well, that's really cool, man. Yeah, it seems like I really appreciate and respect the coaches. I've been talking to a couple coaches now and people with uplifting athletes. Like I said, I was talking to Will and everything. And this time period for athletes in particular and students is so important. And it's so important to have, a driving force there, like a figure that they can lean on, they can open to have a safe space, especially when faith is involved and they can be open and really have somebody guide them besides just in football or whatever sport they're in, to guide them into life and adulthood.
One of the things that I'm privileged to do, and I volunteer this, and actually Will does this too. You had him on a few weeks ago. So we were at the recruiting tent, the recruiting football tent before, several hours before the game. So you've got, high profile high school athletes that are coming in with their families, with their coaches, and we're there basically making them feel welcome. And, I talked to them about the benefits of coming to Georgia Tech, and then being involved with this football program. I talked about the benefits of coming to Georgia Tech from an academic standpoint. And I talked to them about coming to Georgia Tech and what we have to offer the athletes in terms of FCA. Here's what I do know. If I'm dropping my 18-year-old boy off in Atlanta, Georgia, I'm going to need to know as a parent, like, what is there spiritually? Like, what is there to keep him grounded? And so I've got about 8 volunteers every Saturday that we work at that recruiting team. And we're just walk around and welcome them and make them feel comfortable and feed them a barbecue sandwich and have a good time. So there's a lot of like little tentacles that my role has. I found out that can be just areas of reach, different areas of reach that I have. So that's kind of neat. And obviously coaching in the state of Georgia for 30 years, I know a lot of coaches that come by the tent, and if I don't know somebody at that school, then I know somebody that does. Or so I usually have some type of connection with. Mm-hmm. And then when you say, well, I just stepped away from a 25-year coaching career at Buford, they're like, oh my gosh, the stadium, or oh my gosh, we hate Buford. I mean, that's how it is.
Yeah, the rivalry.
The haters of Buford are real, but that's okay.
That's great. Yeah, that's cool. I love that, your job is kind of just on campus, or you're just out there making connections, or just helping.
The present of presence.
Yeah, I love that.
Present presence.
Present of presence. That's great.
In other words, just show up.
Yeah.
Because you don't know when it's going to hit the fan. I mean, I could tell you 1,000 stories, but like you don't know when things are going to get sideways, or like we got all kind of stuff going on. Like a player's mom is battling cancer, or a kid tears his ACL, or like there's all kind of people that want to and need to lean on you. You just don't know when that time is, but you got to be there.
Mm-hmm.
So when that time is right, hey coach, I need to talk to you about some stuff. Like, I can't tell you how many times, athletes will come up to you and say that. So it is a ministry of presence. And so your presence is the present. And I heard that a lot going into this job, and I'm like, whatever, I don't really understand that. But now I kind of do understand it.
Yeah.
So I've been there about 14. I've been at Tech about 14 months now. So
Still loving it.
still loving it. Yeah, still loving it.
Wow. Very, very cool. Um, we'll be right back. You know that one beanie you reach for every cold morning? The one that somehow feels like a hug and a caffeine boost to your confidence at the same time? Well, yeah, mine's from the Rethreadery. Beth started this Philly shop with nothing but a sewing machine and a belief that fashion could be creative, sustainable, and full of second chances. Everything they sell, from recycled apparel to handmade home goods, has a story stitched into it. So, if you're looking for something that's cozy, conscious, and made with a ton of heart, check out the Rethreadery. Progress, not perfection. One recycled treasure at a time. Check it out at www.rethreadery.com. You know, you and your wife faced a deeply personal challenge with infertility,
Right.
which I'm sure a lot of people out there can absolutely understand and been through that. You know, would you feel comfortable sharing a bit about that chapter and like what helped you both
Sure.
get through it?
Sure. We were married in July of '94, and we didn't want to have kids for a while. I say a while, 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I guess maybe 98, 99. We started trying to have children, and just didn't work out. We moved to Buford from Jasper. We're like, oh, you'll get pregnant. We'll go to Buford. It'll all work out. Well, it never did. So to make a long story short, yeah, well, we did some tests, and we kind of found out the issue, and we went to RBA, I think is the name of the group, off of 285, Reproductive Biology Associates, I think is the name of the group.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, we basically did in vitro. We did in vitro fertilization, decided to do that. And a miracle story. I don't know if you know how in vitro works, but everything happens in a petri dish. And we actually had one egg that fertilized, that took. So my wife calls me in tears and tells me that news, that she just got a phone call. This is before cell phones. So she got a phone call from RBA, and hey, we've had one healthy egg, and that set up a transfer date. So they go in, or implant date is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that, and we were both really upset because you spend a whole lot of money out of pocket, and you only get one fertilized, because you hope to get 6 or 7, and you put 2 in and you freeze 3 or 4, and that's how it works.
Right.
So, but the coolest thing is like, so we went in for that and implant. And one of the craziest things I'll never forget is you walk into this dark lab, and you got these guys in there that are, wearing bandanas and working in a lab all day. And you look on a TV screen, and there's like this 9-cell embryo that they have blown up on a TV screen. Like, that's what we're about to, implant.
Mm-hmm.
And really, really neat that we could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool.
So we do that, and then a couple of days later, a really special moment. I'm in a small group with my church, and we're over at a friend's house, and we just pray like Lord, help this embryo to grow and be healthy. And so literally 8 weeks later, it split, and we have identical twin girls now. One is in her second year of nursing school at Auburn, and one is just started PT school at Sanford in Birmingham. So it was really a miracle, honestly, how that happened.
Twins. I mean, what was your reaction when you heard that? I mean, that's
Yeah, man, it was like, my first reaction when she told me that we were gonna have twins, I'm like, you got all the worries. Oh, well, they survived. My wife is really petite, and oh my goodness, and can she carry twins? It's gonna, were they gonna be healthy? All that.
of course.
Yeah, like you just keep trusting and keep praying. And I think the Lord likes to put you in spaces where you're at it's not in your control. It's in his control.
Mm-hmm.
So, you make it through the first trimester and then the next week and the next week, and you kind of celebrate week after week after week. And then, um, so yeah, that was an amazing, amazing time. The delivery was very, very tough. They're 2.5 hours apart, and we almost took a C-section on Callie, but finally, she came through in the clutch, and yeah, it was a remarkable time and a big miracle, and we're so grateful. And but I tell you what, during the dark time of like what was hard is the time of waiting. Like, man, we can't get pregnant. Like, man, Lord, like we always want to have children, and you're seem to be saying no. And so you pray and you wait, and you talk to people, and you talk all these stories of these couples that get pregnant so easy, and you just feel like, man, I'm just a loner, and it's not going to happen for me, and blah blah blah, and like, what's the life going to be like with no children, and do we want to adopt, and all these thoughts go through your head,
Yeah.
and you just have to sit in it, and you have to sit in it, and that's what's so strong about our faith. Even though we were in that dark valley, we didn't feel like we were there alone. Like the Lord was there with us the whole time, and being our guide and comfort. And also we have friends coming along beside us as well. So, looking back on that time, I think you grow a lot in the valley, and I think that's where the fertile soil is. And, I feel like the Lord wants you to lean on him. He wants to be wanted. And so, yeah, looking back on that time, it was amazing, but it was a true miracle. And I'm also very, very thankful for technology, to be honest. Really thankful for RBA and for the ability, God created that and skilled these people to be able to do this. So yeah, that's kind of our story.
Wow. That's incredible. Like you said, would you say the soil's the richest in the valleys?
Yeah,
Right?
you grow the most in the valley because that's where the fertile soil is.
Mm. Yeah. So true. So true. I love that.
Years ago, everybody inhabited by the rivers
Yeah.
because that's where the grass was green and that's where the plants were nourished and that's where irrigation could happen. So yeah, those valleys, it's not the mountaintops. And it's easy to talk about it, but it's hard to go through it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Very, very cool. And congratulations. I mean, I know I'm late to the party, but congratulations.
No, thank you. Caroline
Uh,
coming home at 8 o'clock. We're going to go on a little sushi date.
nice.
My wife hates sushi, but Caroline and I both love sushi, so we're going to go have a little sushi date.
What's your go-to sushi roll?
You know what? I'm kind of plain. I don't like all the mayonnaise stuff. I just do a tuna roll and a tuna avocado and a salmon avocado roll. But I do get some fried rice.
Yeah.
That's the negative. Actually, it's the positive, negative, whichever way you're gonna look at it.
Yeah. I was gonna say that's definitely a positive.
Yeah, I love
Um,
it. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a very plain kind of I go spicy tuna roll. Give me spicy. I can eat 5 pounds of spicy tuna roll if you need me to.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. But I don't like all the onions and the mayonnaise stuff up top. But I don't eat sushi very often. But Caroline loved that. We love to have this date.
That's so cool. What a really cool story. It's really powerful to hear, how your faith and perseverance really shaped kind of your journey, you and your wife's journey into two beautiful twin daughters,
She's a great
Um,
mom. I mean, I feel like they call her 5 times a day. You know, Mom, I'm on aisle 5. Like where are the cookies? I mean,
yeah,
they just talk about so much stuff, and most of the time I'm in the background. Um, but she's a phenomenal wife, and have walked with me through this coaching journey, and
mm,
with gosh, just late nights and work. Football, particularly at Buford, like you're working all the time.
I imagine it's all encompassing.
It's all encompassing. It's all encompassing. And I've got so many great friends that are still on that staff that I keep in touch with. Coach Brian Appling does a great job as the head coach there. And we worked together for a long, long time
Hmm.
there. But back to Amy, like she is a true rock star. And she's been like my greatest cheerleader and biggest friend. And I can't say enough about her for sure.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Um, yeah. So yeah, 25 years at Buford, 18, and let me make sure I'm getting this right here because I'm reading this. I'm like, man, 25 years at Buford, 18 state championships,
18 appearances.
18 appearances,
Yeah.
13 titles. Did I write that
13,
down right?
13 wins. Yeah, 13 top.
That's the stuff of legend right there. My goodness. Looking back, what moments is there a specific moment or moments that really stand out to you where you're that I'm sure you look back on a
Well,
lot of it super
yeah,
fondly.
dude, that first one against Bowden,
Hmm.
um, yeah, that was an amazing. In 2001, that first one was like, wow, uh, just a
Yeah.
just a fun atmosphere. An old school stadium that was electric, and we made some big plays to get that done. We had our running back was Darius Walker, who went on to play with Notre Dame and the
Yeah.
Broncos, and now he's got his own ESPN job.
Yeah.
And I mean, really, I think about the relationships and the moments more than I think about the trophies.
Hmm.
Think about time, practices and workouts, and uh, just there's just so much. I mean, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
There's just so much, and uh, it's just been just such a blessing, like such a blessing. I feel like I've just had the greatest experience ever with football at the high school level. And but you remember a lot of the state championships in the dome game, we had a lot of battles with various teams, and you remember I remember honestly, I think I probably remember the plays that my guys didn't do well. I coached the secondary, particularly
Hmm.
quarterbacks, and I remember the plays that like they screwed up on sometimes more than the plays that they had well. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's cool though. I imagine the connections themselves to all those students and coaches and families um, really stand out because I mean, to be there for that long too, and also to be that successful, it's got to be incredibly rewarding. Um, just sheerly meeting all of those people too, and coaching them.
Yeah, 100%. And now my reward is, a player will call me up and says, "Coach, like, come, I want you to come to my wedding," or "We just had our first kid," or like, "Happy Father's Day," or whatever.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
the connections and the relationships and the memories and all that are like overwhelmingly amazing.
yeah,
But all that said, now I feel like I'm kind of in this phase, this chapter two, this new season of life where I'm not on that football field, in that coaching arena, but I'm still walking next to coaches and athletes, and
hmm,
I can get my football fix because I can talk. You know, I've got a lot of coaches there I can talk to about like, hey, how y'all playing this? How this is how we did it, or how y'all doing this, or um, and it's fun to still talk football
yeah.
because I think once that's in your blood, like it never goes away.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah,
And you get, man, he should have done this or he should have done that. Or wow, that's a great play. Like, look at his leverage, look at his feet, look at his eyes, like look at what he's doing. And you still love the game.
yeah, yeah. I said athletes in particular is the closest we'll get probably to like superheroes in terms of like pure crazy ability to be like, my gosh, I can't believe they thought to just turn here, do that, fly over there, do that.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing. It's pretty cool.
But then you get them in a Bible study and they want to learn, they want to grow, but sometimes they act like middle schoolers.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Hey,
the other side of it.
they're 20-year-old boys. Basically, they're just teenage boys, 20, 21, whatever, and
Yeah,
they still like to cut up and have fun, which is fun. It's great.
yeah, that's cool. Keeps you young, right?
Keeps you young. 100% it does. Yes, it
Yeah.
does.
When did you let's see here. How much time you got left?
Yeah, 15 minutes or so, like whatever you need.
All right, let's do it. What do I have here?
Yeah, well, I mean, I said quarter after. That's actually 20 minutes. Quarter after five. If that's good.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
I mean, we're just talking.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Um, I'm having a great time.
Yeah, this
Um,
is excellent. It kind of helps me, like, also, to be honest, it kind of helps me frame up my life
yeah,
a
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
and think back. And, a lot of times, my life is like,
yeah. Boom, 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 boom.
you don't really ponder, reflect, and think and remember enough.
Yeah. That's what's really cool about doing this too. As I'm talking to people, people are like, "Yeah, that was, man, it's crazy. That was 20 years ago, actually, and this happened, this happened."
And
And
I tell you, that's a big blessing, that
mhm,
you're doing, that you're creating a space where people can reflect. And because it makes I really do feel like it makes them a better version of yourself. So you're actually bringing about the, a better version of these people that you have on.
that's incredible. I mean, I appreciate that, and that's kind of the goal of two ways, myself and
Yeah.
you got the whoever I'm interviewing as well. Okay, this is a good one, I think. What did you love most about coaching high school athletes versus what you love now about working with college players?
I think I liked taking even a freshman that doesn't really understand the game and really explaining the game and watching him grow from,
Hmm.
I always kind of believe that, you coach them hard and as a freshman, as a sophomore, as a junior, and you explain our system and how we do and how we call things and how we play things, especially on defense, like different calls, different ways we play these coverages or run this defense, and you really steep them in the fundamentals, both scheme and technique. And then by the time they're a senior, they're out there getting it done.
Yeah,
And they're doing the things that you've coached them to do, and that is so rewarding. I mean,
that's
it's so rewarding. I'll never forget. I had a kid named Mikey McMorris, and he was like 5'6", 125 as a freshman, and just was so small.
wow.
Uh, but he always, like, he had two interceptions against Central Gwinnett one game, and I told our coaches, I'm like, y'all, Mikey's going to be a good player one day. Just watch. And some of the coaches were like, Coach, he's just too small. He's too small. He's too small. And then by his junior year, like, he was starting. Still wasn't the biggest guy in the world, but he really grew his senior year and had a great junior and senior year. Went to play at Navy, was a 3-year starter at Navy, and was just a phenomenal player. And
Wow.
just seeing that growth, and yeah, 100%. And I got to coach Brandon Marsh. You might know that name, Brandon Marsh. Yep,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
he was such a little guy too. Like, he was literally 5'7", 150 as a freshman.
Wow.
And I got to work with him and coach him. He played my position, so it was a lot of, we were really close. And then all of a sudden, his senior year, like, he shoots up to 6'2", 6'3", 205.
Hmm.
And I'm like, man, what in the world happened? How did? And then he gets drafted, and now I guess he's playing either left field or center field for the Phillies.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I got to say, I went several months back. I went to see him play. First time I've ever seen him play. Went to the Braves game and went down there and talked to him after the game, and
That's awesome.
well, it was fun to see him. So you have those, but I mean, those are two, like, maybe notable people, but there's so many that you see them grow up and go in the military or go get a job or just go to college. And that's what I love about high school and about college. The college kids, I feel like what I've really appreciated about the college athlete, especially at Georgia Tech, is they're very high achievers.
Hmm.
Like, take their sport very serious, but they also take academics very serious, and they have a little bit of mature outlook on life, and they're really thinking. I mean, of course, their head is in the world of sports and what they do, and their head has to be in academics because Georgia Tech is um, Georgia Tech. I mean,
Yeah.
it's very difficult academically, but they also have high level questions and about life and about, like like what is this faith thing all about? Like they've got a lot of really good questions. So you get to dive in and really, you know, help them navigate that. And you don't push anything on them. Like, you need to go
Mhm.
figure this out for yourself. But you do navigate and help, give them biblical truths. And a lot of times, like in FCA right now, what we're doing is we're taking stories you've always heard in the Bible, and we are unpacking how they relate to the larger redemption story of history. So we're taking Jonah and David and Goliath and Moses and these stories and unpacking the bigger picture, of how that. And so these kids are so inquisitive. So they're more mature for sure,
Mhm.
academically, athletically, and what they want to do spiritually.
Very cool. Wow. Yeah. What I like about listening to you talk about these athletes and just talking about you, the impact that you have is, it sounds like for you, football has always been kind of a vehicle for like
You're right. It's been a
something deeper. You know what I mean? Not just the love of the game, but also like a connection and growth and purpose, through faith.
yeah, it's a conduit. It's a way to have an impact. But
Mhm.
football teaches so many great life lessons. Like, it's hard. Like, summertime, it's 120 degrees on that turf, and you're getting your butt kicked and you're getting knocked down, and you got to get back up and get in the game and like suck it up. And so many great lessons of being a teammate, of learning to compete, of learning to pull for a guy that's playing your same position and deal with hard times. Like, I'm not getting playing time. Like, this is not fair. And then you got the whole parent. That's a whole nother conversation of the parental pressure and all that. Like, and you can imagine what the parental pressure and what the coaches go through at Buford. Like, it's on a whole nother level.
I can't imagine.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, it's on a whole nother level. What Coach App and his staff have to deal with regarding that. But no, it is a lot for sure.
Mhm. Um, it's beautiful to say. Well, it's beautiful to hear you talk about it too. Um, you call this new chapter at Georgia Tech your chapter two. You've said that to me. What does that phrase mean to you? Really?
Chapter two is to me, it means a new start. It means
Mhm.
a new beginning. Um, if I'm really, really honest, I do think about Buford. I do miss coaching to a degree, but I'm like 95% pushing forward and maybe 5% or 3% looking back.
Mhm.
And
I think it's okay. I think it's important to look back too.
yeah,
It
yeah,
shows
yeah,
you how much that meant to you. You
for
know.
sure, you do. And I think it's this role. I want to be excellent at it, and I want my staff to be excellent at it. And there's so much opportunity at Georgia Tech. I don't have time too much to think about what was. I mean, you're right. You do need to remember that is good, but you can't dwell on that. You got to move
Mhm.
forward. I've got new goals. I've got new um, experiences to experience. I've got people that need to be served. I've got kids that need to be led. I've got coaches that need to be led, players that need to be led, and yeah. So it's just fun. I mean, it's
Yeah.
invigorating. So that's what would consider that chapter two meaning for me. Like, I mean, chapter one was awesome, but like, this is a new beginning, a fresh start, a new place, a new space, and a new mindset. And like, let's go.
Yeah. Let's go. Love that. Um, so what's your favorite part about mentoring at the college level? Like, how does it differ from your days under the Friday night lights?
The one thing that's neat about college life is you can spend, like, I can take an athlete to lunch and we can
Mm,
spend an hour and a half and we can talk about life and like where you grew up and how you grew up. And
a little bit slow. It slows
yeah,
you down a
and
little
you
bit
got
more.
Georgia Tech and why'd you choose Georgia Tech and what's your hardest class? So you can have more in-depth conversations. In high school, um, they don't have as much margin of time because they come to school, they have 7 periods in the day, and then they got to
Mhm.
hurry up and get changed for practice, and they go to practice, and then you just don't have a lot of get to know you time. Um,
Yeah.
so so that's what I see a big difference um, between high school and college.
Makes absolute sense. That's really cool. When you look at your life right now, your faith, your family, your football, your legacy, and all that stuff, what feels like, I don't know, what feels most fulfilling for you?
You know, the thing that feels most fulfilling is that like back in that summer of hot August summer of 1987 when I was surrendered my life to the Lord, um, I feel like that catapulted my journey, for lack of a better word, through sports, but the Lord has directed my path the whole way. And I mean, I've been 100% imperfect at so many things, and struggle, and had my bumps and bruises along the way. But I feel like that, number one, He has been by my side, actually fighting my battles for me, going ahead of me, and number two, helping me and give me the wisdom to pour into young people. Um, I mean, I just want to serve. I want to serve these kids. I want to serve these coaches. I mean, I feel like a life of service is the greatest life ever. Um, don't make it about yourself. And of course, everybody battles pride and ego and all that. It's particularly in the sports world as a coach, like you battle that. But at the end of the day, man, like I want my life to reflect the Lord and give Him all the glory for this opportunity, because in the opportunities that I've had, I mean, he is in charge and He's in control and He directs my steps, and He has my whole life. I mean, I have to go back to my parents and the way they raised me and what they poured into me, and then what my coaches have meant to me, and I just want to impact kids in a positive way, and ultimately, um, by helping them walk with Jesus. That's what I
Mhm.
want to do, and I think that's the most important thing in life, is to give yourself away every single day. And there's 1,000 different ways to do it.
Yeah.
It could be a comment, it could be a look, it could be a arm around a set of shoulder pads, it could be a conversation at lunch, it could be whatever. There's 1,000 different ways to serve and make people feel valued, and that's what I want to do. And so when I look back on that, man, I've had 1,000 opportunities, um, a million opportunities, like looking back on the last 30 years. But like, hey, what's the next 30 look like? Like, I'm ready to go. Like,
Right.
wherever He leads me, I just want to be faithful and I want to be obedient. And that's hard. That's hard a lot of times, but that's what I want to do.
That's it's incredible. It's powerful stuff there, coach. Very humbling for sure. Um, Very cool. Like you said, especially on the stage that is sports, to kind of keep that mindset, especially the journey that you've had. It's incredible to hear. It's really, really cool.
Well, man, I appreciate that, and thanks for letting me share my story, man. On this
Yeah.
podcast, it was a huge blessing, and man, you got my wheels to turning. You prompted some questions that made me, man, go back into the history book a little bit.
That's what I
But
was going for.
but yeah, but now you do a great job, and very honored. And like, the biggest thing I love about man, you're just called the bright side.
Braving the bright side.
Being
Yeah.
the bright side. I had a friend recently that went through a really, really tough time. Like, he got fired from his coaching job, and he's just had a hard 5 years. Really dear friend. We were really, really good friends at Auburn. And I told him, I said, Matt, you know what? Let me tell you something, brother. I said, trophies whisper, but trials shout.
Mm.
And people are drawn to other people that have gone through struggles. And people are drawn, like, I mean, I got trophies, and that's okay. That's good. That's part of my story. But what people really connect to are hardships and struggles and trials and going through the hard. And I told Matt, I said, man, Matt actually won high school coach of the year in the country, in the nation.
Wow.
He was honored at the Super Bowl.
Wow.
And then 2 years later, he loses his job. That's who I need to get on this podcast for you.
I
Okay.
mean, that's
2 years
amazing.
2 years later, he loses his job, gets fired. And I said, man, you know what? I said, when you're talking about winning the Don Shula Award, the greatest high school football coach in the country, you had half the room. When you lost your job, you had the whole room.
Wow. Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. I mean, that's the point of the podcast is people identify with that. People feel that. People have walked through that before. So
So, man, just what you're honing in on, the struggle is and you know what? That helps people. It helps people go, hey, man, I'm not alone. I'm not the only one going through a valley here. Like I'm not the only one struggling. I'm not the only one that's like, what the crap is going on with my life? Like it happens all the time to everybody.
yeah.
You know, if you're a man that's breathing, you're a man that's battling.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
no
So
doubt.
true.
In some arena. In some arena.
So true. And it's easy to kind of feel alone with your own struggles and your own battles anymore.
It is.
And to feel like that's all on you no matter what, and you have to do it all alone. And that's just not the case. And
It's not
that's
the
the point
case.
of this podcast.
That is not the case. And ultimately that's why I ran to the person who I believe holds us in the palm of his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Because people will let you down, friends will let you down, even my wife will let me down at times, but the Lord that's always going to have me. And I need that anchor in my life. I need that anchor because I'm going to screw it up. But he promises, to never leave you nor forsake you. And he's going to be an anchor. And I need to be tethered to something that's unshakable and immovable. And so in that 1987 night on that hot gym floor, best I knew how, I'm like, Lord, I need you. I don't need me. I don't need a hot girl. I don't need another state championship.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know I was going to have 13. I don't need all that. But what I need is an unshakable rock and anchor in my life. And so here I am.
I feel like you kind of went into this anyway, but I'm going to ask it. What does braving the bright side mean to you?
What does braving the bright side mean to me? You know what? It's almost like an oxymoron because
I love this question because I get a different answer from
it's
everybody
almost
else.
an oxymoron because being brave, you got the word brave and then you got bright side. Well, usually you're trying to be brave in the dark, not brave
Mhm.
in the bright. But if you can see that there is growth in that tough time, growth in those valleys, then you are more apt to be brave and walk through that space with zeal, with vitality, and with strength, because you know that ultimately that's for your growth, and ultimately it's to make you a better person.
Yeah.
So that's what I see at Braving the Bright Side. I love that. I mean, I love that title of this podcast. It's really neat.
Thank you. I came up with myself.
Yeah.
That's what an awesome answer.
You got a little alliteration in there too.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Catchy.
What a great answer. I love that. And like I said, one of my favorite things about asking that question to everybody is depending on their walks through life and their journeys and what they've been through and where they're at now, the answer is never the same. And that answer is incredible. It's awesome. I also love that you called it an oxymoron at first. I was like, okay, that makes sense actually. So
Yeah. Yeah.
here we go. One last question for you. I usually say on the podcast, if you could sum up your whole life with one word, or what would it be? But I wrote this down when I first re-listened to our conversation on the phone. When you look back in your journey from small town Georgia to Auburn to Buford to Georgia Tech, and then everything in between and everything you're looking at now in the future, what's one word or theme that you think can tie it all together?
It's a really easy question. Gratitude. Gratitude.
Mm, yep.
Just tremendously grateful for God's grace in my life, for the people in my life, wife, children, parents, friends, experiences, uh, success, I guess, to a degree,
Yeah.
and now opportunity. opportunity. So all of those in one bucket with, you call it the gratitude bucket.
Gratitude bucket.
Yeah, I'm so grateful, so thankful. Um,
That's awesome, Coach. I really appreciate that.
Listen, man, good to get to know you. Good to meet you. I'm honored to be on here. I respect what you're doing, and just know that man, you got my number. Anytime you need anything, hit me up.
I
Uh,
appreciate that.
it can really literally be about anything. So
Yeah. Probably gonna take you up on that.
we'll get a cup of coffee sometime, man, for real.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I was actually gonna say, I was like, I gotta make it down to Georgia sometime soon because Will was telling me to come down there as well. So
Where you at?
I'm up in Philly, right outside of Philadelphia,
Nice.
in media. So,
Yeah,
um,
man,
but
we have a little bar right on the fringe of Georgia Tech. It's called Rocky Mountain Pizza. You can Google it.
okay.
Tell you what, it's I think it's the largest Eagles fan bar gathering in the state.
Wow. In
And
Georgia.
in Georgia. And when I tell you, when those Eagles are playing, I mean they have like 8 bar stools,
Yeah.
and there's a jersey for every person that sits on that bar, and there's Eagle stuff everywhere. And I had to go pick up like 10 pizzas during a playoff game last year, and there was a bouncer at the door with people waiting to get in, and I had to get in and go to the back and get the pizzas, and it was like I had to turn sideways. I mean, it's a hole in the wall place, but it is packed with Eagles fans.
Yeah. I mean, Philly fans, they travel well too. So
And there's a lot of UGA players on that Phillies defense.
yeah. Yeah, for sure. And they're phenomenal too.
And one of my favorite movies of all time, Mark Wahlberg, Invincible.
Yes. That's
Great
great.
movie.
That's great. Um, well, Coach, this has been phenomenal. Really,
I
seriously.
really, really enjoyed it.
The
Sure,
honor's all mine. And I'll hit you up with some Georgia Tech tickets sometime soon.
do that. Be glad to give you a couple.
All right, man. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you have a great day.
Yep, take care. See you.
Take care. See ya. Coach Snell has this rare gift of taking something as big and fast paced as football and kind of slowing it down to what really matters: faith, family, gratitude, and growth. His perspective is a reminder that the real trophies in life aren't the ones sitting on the shelf behind you. They're the lessons we learn when no one's watching, and the people we become when things don't go exactly our way. So, Coach, thank you for your time, your heart, and the light you continue to bring to every room you walk into. Georgia Tech is lucky to have you, and I'm lucky I got to share your story right here on the podcast. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to leave you with this. It takes real bravery to keep showing up, even after the final whistle, to find purpose in the in between seasons, to stay grateful when life doesn't look the way you thought it would. Coach Snell reminded us that the greatest victories aren't always the ones with confetti and cheers. Sometimes they're the quiet moments of faith, character, and grace when no one's watching. Before we close out, I want to take a moment to talk about something close to my heart: the SNAP program. I feel unfairly it's become kind of a controversial take and a controversial program, caught in, once again, another political nightmare. It's one of the most vital support systems in this country, helping millions of families put food on the table when times get tough. It's not just about compassion, it's about stability, empathy, and community. SNAP doesn't make your groceries more expensive. It keeps local stores open, kids fed, and the economy alive. It's a reflection of what we can be when we look out for each other. If you want to learn more or help out, I've included links in this episode's description. Take a few minutes to read, share, or donate. Every bit of understanding this program matters. And as always, if something in today's conversation stirred something in you, or if you've got a story that you feel needs to be heard, well, I'd love to hear from you. Reach out anytime at bravingthebrightside@gmail.com or find me on Instagram at braving_the_brightside. And even if you don't feel ready to come on and share it yourself, email me anyway. Tell me your story, and if you'd like, I'll gladly tell it for you. Thank you so much for spending a little time on the bright side with me today. Until next time, keep braving it. One step, one sunrise, one honest conversation, and yes, one faithful step forward at a time. I'll see you next week.